As 2021 is the 60th anniversary of the Jaguar E-Type, it seemed like the ideal opportunity to revisit a book that I wrote in 2000, 21 years ago, and update it, revise it, hopefully improve it, and so on. So here we are. This was the book that I did originally, published by a massive company called Orion. This time Porter Press will be reprinting it. It will not have the same title, which is really a most unfortunate title. It was so immodest and seemingly arrogant, the most famous car in the world. And so it unfortunately has done me no favours, that title. So we certainly won't be using that again. It's great to revisit my archives and dig through material that I've had buried for quite some time. And here, for example, we have the first reference ever to 9600HP, which was simply, these are Norman Jewis's notes. Norman Jewis was the chief tester at Jaguar from 1952 to 1986. And he's saying here on the 4th of November 1960, inspecting second hardtop E-Type. That's the car we're talking about, 9600HP. The E-Type was designed by a fascinating character called Malcolm Sayer, and he had been retained by Jaguar to design in firstly the C-Type sports racing car, and then the legendary D-Type, and not surprisingly E-Type followed, based very much on the Le Mans D-Types. Now, what made Sayer extraordinary, and there were several things, but one in particular was that he designed cars mathematically, just as would happen several decades later with computer-aided design. And that was extraordinary. And so we have various of his workings here. We have various photographs and things. Here, for example, is a photograph that he had in his possession of an early 50s Alfa Romeo, which I think was part of the inspiration for what was at that time called the Disco Volante style flying saucer in Italian. And Sayer created various models which were tested in the wind tunnel and such like. And this is one of his most interesting designs, which came between the C-Type and D-Type. In about, 1953, that to me is the E-Type Jaguar in 1953. Extraordinary. Must have seemed out of this world, considering how modern E-Type seemed when it was launched in March 1961. So there's all sorts of fascinating stuff that we've got, fascinating at least to me, and hopefully others. The car in its early days when it was a test car, development car, and so on. So lots of stuff that we're digging away, and I'm delighted to say that Malcolm Sayer's family, he very sadly died in 1970, far too young, and I think he was, from memory, he was 60 just. And so the family, I'm delighted to say, are helping, and this is our opportunity to really tell the Malcolm Sayer story.